What if everything you think aliens look like is completely wrong? Hollywood sold us little green men with giant eyes. But Earth alone has shrimp that punch with the force of bullets, fish that look like melted nightmares, and microscopic bears that survive in space. So let's use actual physics, chemistry, and biology to build 3 alien worlds, each more bizarre than the last, each following real science, each waiting to be discovered. Put on your imagination suit. We're going alien hunting. Life on Earth follows one recipe: DNA, water, carbon. But the universe has billions of kitchens, different stars, different chemistry, different rules. We'll visit 3 worlds where physics got creative. Let's start with the loneliest ocean in the galaxy. This is Crimson, a red dwarf star barely brighter than a candle. Orbiting it is Tide, a planet locked in an eternal staring contest with its star. One side frozen solid, the other baked by weak red light. And in between, a thin ribbon of liquid methane. Let's dive into this purple ocean. You're surrounded by towers, living towers. They're not plants, they're silicon-based filter feeders, built like glass skyscrapers. Instead of oxygen, they breathe silane gas. Instead of blood, they pump liquid sulfur. And instead of sunlight, they harvest chemical energy from volcanic vents below. The vents are the heartbeat of this world. Watch out, that's a glider! They're ambush predators that mimic the texture of the methane currents. Invisible until they strike. And those sparkles? Crystal shrimp. Their shells are made of frozen ammonia. They're being hunted by something that looks like a swimming icicle with teeth. The hunt is brutal and silent. Nothing here has eyes, it's too dark. Instead, they echolocate using pressure waves through the methane. Listen closely. They're singing to each other. A symphony of clicks, hums, and vibrations. Your suit picks up frequencies humans can't hear. Ultrasonic courtship songs, warning pulses, territorial roars. Something enormous just woke up below. A methane leviathan, 30 meters long, luring prey with a bioluminescent decoy. Time to leave. This ocean doesn't want visitors. Next stop, a world where the ground is a lie. Welcome to the orbit of Solis, a young and angry A-type star. Circling it at a safe distance is the gas giant Aeolus, twice the size of Jupiter but with 1/3 the gravity. There's no ground here, just clouds forever. At 50 kilometers up, the temperature is a pleasant 20 Celsius degree, and the pressure is Earth-like. This is where life began, inside tiny water droplets, feeding on atmospheric hydrogen and ammonia. Over millions of years, they evolved into floaters, living balloons filled with hydrogen gas. They drift on wind currents, trailing sticky tentacles to catch cloud plankton. Some evolved jet propulsion, squirting gas to steer, steering through storm systems that would tear Earth apart. The largest colonies linked together into floating forests, hundreds of organisms sharing nutrients and protection. And where there are forests, there are hunters. Meet the sky rays. They evolved from smaller floaters that learned to compress their gas sacs for explosive speed bursts, like vampiric hummingbirds. They puncture their prey and drain their hydrogen, both for food and fuel. But life here is fragile. One wrong gust and you sink into the crushing depths below. The lower clouds are a graveyard, too hot, too pressurized. Nothing survives down there. So floaters evolved a desperate strategy. When threatened, they release spores upward. The spores freeze, drift for decades, then fall back when conditions are right. You've arrived at the binary system Geminus, 2 stars locked in an endless dance. Orbiting both is Ferox, a planet with an iron-rich crust, and barely any atmosphere. The twin stars blast it with radiation. The days are scorching. The nights are frozen. Yet somehow, life found a way. It grows in the form of metallic crystals. These aren't minerals, they're living organisms that build their bodies from iron, copper, and nickel. Instead of photosynthesis, they harvest energy directly from stellar radiation. Using quantum effects in their metallic lattices, over millions of years they've formed gardens. Forests of living metal, and gardens attract gardeners. These metal crawlers are silicon-based scavengers that feed on crystals by forming electrical connections. They communicate through electrical pulses, basically talking in Morse code. Ferox has a strong magnetic field, and these creatures evolved to sense it, using it like GPS seconde. At the top of the food chain, the Reapers. They're not alive in the way we understand. They're self-replicating machines that evolved naturally. They harvest metal from the environment, build copies of themselves, and continue the cycle. You've been noticed, and you're made of very interesting metals. Run. Portal. Now. That was close. Too close. 3 worlds. Methane oceans. Sky forests. Metal gardens. None of them use DNA. None of them breathe oxygen. None of them would recognize us as alive. And here's the terrifying part. Statistically, they're out there. We've discovered over 5,000 exoplanets. Billions more are waiting. What are the odds that on at least one of them, something is looking back at us? Or looking at each other, equally confused? Back on Earth, life feels almost boring. We breathe the air. We drink the water. We barely think about how perfectly tuned it all is. But even here, life is stranger than we admit. Somewhere out there, under a red star, or floating in eternal clouds, or growing in a metal forest, something else is wondering if it's alone. And maybe, just maybe, we'll find each other. Maybe they're listening to the same silence we are. Maybe they're building telescopes too. We've already sent messages into the void. Golden records carrying our music, our voices, our coordinates. We might finally get an answer. And one day, maybe tomorrow, maybe in 1,000 years. Until then, keep looking up.